Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Frog, and today I'll be your host. Today we are opening something I've been waiting very eagerly to open. The Yu-Gi-Oh! Pot Collection, or the Yu-Gi-Oh! The Pot Collection. Yes, it's misleading as a title, but this is really just regarding the pot collection. It's not actual pot, it's not weed, guys. It's just pots. We'll open this shortly and we'll enjoy the beautiful pot collection. And yeah, so this is for the 25th anniversary. You can see the logo up here. This is a chunky little box that you could order online at the Konami store for the drops. It's basically like the Magic the Gathering Secret Lair shop thing. You could just, order some special drops, but they only come once in a while. There aren't that many. The website isn't that good, honestly, but it's cool collectible stuff. They have their promotional items there. They have a lot of cool stuff. You just need to be there at the right time. Why is the bottom not opening correctly? I will never know. I'll just open this by getting further away. Ah, shit. I've damaged the cardboard. Nah, but the contents will be fine. That's all that matters, really, at this point. There we go. So what do you find inside the pot collection? Well, let me enlighten you. This beautiful box contains pots. Nah, honestly, though, it contains a bunch of cards in a very special foiling for the collection, and it contains little plastic models to assemble. Obviously, you guys can see the cards here. They're all promotional and sealed. We'll get to this as we go. What else can you find? You find the pots. The pots are beautiful. The pots are what you live for. They are your life reason. No, honestly though, we'll go through each of them. I guess we'll do the classic first pot last. Yes, we'll go in reverse fashion. So what I'll do is I'll put this up like this. Nothing is falling out. We'll put this on the side there. And I'll just be plucking one at a time. And we'll go through each of them. And as we go through them, I will take out the card that goes with it. And we'll be able to review the card at the same time. So yes, these are not complicated plastic models like Bandai plastic models or whatever that I sometimes do on the channel. Like for example, this Mimikyu plastic model is actually a very simple one, but they're not like this kind of complicated for the pot collection. You know, those sprues that you need to unsnap thing and fit and glue and whatever. Like, it's not that complicated of a model kit. It's honestly, as you can see, just already snapped, already molded. You just plug and play at this point. But, it's fun. It's fun to assemble them a bit. You can see some more intricate aspects of the pot that you did not expect it to have. Sometimes, by manipulating something, you figure some new aspects of it. I don't have my scissors with me, and I can't open this thing. I'll use this knife. Let's just hope I don't damage anything. There we go. Easy peasy, as they would say. So why is this such a convoluted and desired item for collectors? Well, let me answer that as well. This item first released as an OCG only product. A lot of people were very interested in this product because obviously models of ridiculous looking faces on pots are always such a beautiful thing to see. But also because it released a bunch of promo cards with these pots on them, and you were guaranteed all of them. So obviously a lot of these cards did not have any specific reprints yet when this first released, So a lot of these things, like the most recent ones, I keep forgetting the names as of the moment, but I believe stuff like Pot of Prosperity and Pot of Extravagance, a lot of these don't have tons of reprints out and easily accessible. This is guaranteed stuff at a beautiful foiling and good card stock. So a lot of people were very interested in this, and obviously the OCG one had, its original run, which a lot of people enjoyed, but you couldn't play with the OCG stuff. Now that it's come out in the TCG as English cards, you can play with these. You can play with them here in the TCG. Okay, I'll just keep my knife open at this point. Sorry about that. It's not safe. Yes, I know it's not safe. I'm a dangerous, dangerous adult. Kids, don't play with these at home. Knives can hurt people and yourselves. Anyways, I digress. Let's get back to the main topic of pots. So, which do you prefer, pots or pans? Now, jokes aside, guys. Here we have a beautiful, disgusting pot, for which you put the nose in, and it looks horribly disgusting. Wow, this is a disgusting son of a bitch. Okay, and you put it on its little base here, its little mount base thing. Why isn't it plugging in? Am I missing something? No, that's the way it should go. Come on, I don't want to damage my pot. Really? Does it fit this way? I thought I needed to go further in. Yeah, this doesn't seem to fit easily for me, at least. Do I need an instruction booklet just for this, honestly? Come on, man. Don't do this to me. There we go. It fit. I needed to use a little bit of brute strength, but it fit. And look, there's a hole inside the pot. Can the lighting show the inside of the pot? There we go. It's actually just empty. You could store your actual pot inside this pot. Fun. It's fun for the whole family. No, but honestly though, this is just an empty little plastic thing. And you put it on this little base, and there you have it, fellas. You have our first pot. Look at the details though. It is a beautiful, beautiful model of a disgusting looking pot. Yeah, I like the little drip on the tongue there. Is it saliva? Is it mucus? Is it some kind of weird acid trip looking thing? I don't know. But this, my good friends, is the pot of acquisitiveness. There we go. Here we have the ultra name on a secret prismatic looking cardstock thing. It is the TBC1. Why is it a B? I thought it would have been a P, like T, the pot collection. Why is it a B? What the hell is this? Does it have another name than the pot collection? What? This is dumb. Anyways, so that's the guy. That's the main guy on this pot. It looks disgusting, but it looks beautiful and true to the card. Honestly, very glad about this one. The foiling is insane. You can just lose your sight with this bling. But yeah, no, obviously, I'll sleeve this card up. I'm protecting this bitch because it is a very collectible promotional item. There we go. Card with pot. These cards will go into the collection binder for sure. I keep saying the collection binder, but you guys need to know. In a video that'll come out around Xmas time, there will be a little tour of the hobby room, and honestly, there's more than one binder. There are so many binders, guys. It's an issue. I have literally not enough space to put all the cards that I have. It's getting to be a problem. Anyways, on to the next pot of the hour. This looks like a very fun pot. It looks to be a very happy looking pot. But which pot is it? I'll give you guys a few seconds to, write it down while I assemble it. But honestly, these cards, not the cards, but the actual models are very nice and detailed. Good quality cards, or models in this case. This goes here. This goes here. Wow. I'm actually noticing stuff that I've never actually taken the time to look at the models when it comes to, you know, the details and stuff. Like, when I look on the cards, I don't look for the details. I just mostly look for the cards. And, you know, sometimes the effects, right? Okay, this is not an easy fit. There we go. It just fit. Somewhat. It's still not entirely in. Jeez. Okay. Right. That's as good as it'll get. So this seems to me to be the pot of riches. Is it the pot of riches? Is it? Yes, it is, my good friends. It is the pot of riches. Look at that. Such great detail on this. The smile. Literally the only thing missing from the artwork of the card is the wind coming out of its mouth. How good of a detailed artwork is that? Look, it's got little utensils on the top of its head. It's got very, very sharp eyes. Very, very slit eye character. The teeth, the bling. Like, you don't see the back of the pot on the artwork. Who would have known this would be on the back here? Like, it's not shown on the card. This is nice. You get to see a lot of bling. It's cool. And we're gonna sleeve the card up for future purposes. There we go. It's cool. I like this. It's a fun little parallel ultra rare rarity thing. It's nice. Next pot we have. Ooh, okay. I'm pretty sure a lot of people will recognize this one after looking at it from you know, the Google page for this product. But yeah, for those true players playing the game since forever and remembering the pots that came out in the golden days that never actually saw any play because they were not good cards, this one is for you guys. I remember this card. I remember this pot very well. It's such a bad pot, but a lot of people tried to find usage for it. It never really did because it's a bad pot. Hey, this is well taped. There we go. Hey, got the rest of the pot. Okay, so this has to be the front of it, right? I'll try to stick it down before putting the head on, so I have a little more pressing room for my hands. There we go. Okay, and then I put the head on. Like this. It's fun. We're doing the original pots before doing the mixes. So here we have our beautiful pot of... Is this? No, that can't be the right one. It's pot of benevolence! Da-da-da-da-da-da! Yeah, okay. So, it's not the worst pot, but it's not a great pot. Pot of benevolence. Target 2 cards in your graveyard. In the graveyards, any graveyard. Shuffle them into the deck. After activation, banish this card instead of sending it to the graveyard. So yeah, doesn't do much. I mean, it's okay, but it's definitely not seeing any play. I don't remember it seeing much play at all, but it's not the worst pot. We're gonna see a worse one soon. But this pot, you know, the artwork and the details on the little figurine, they go well. They actually are doing a good job. It's not the most detailed pot, and that's okay. I mean, did I have an issue with these arms not being equal on each side? I don't know. It's not symmetrical, but the card artwork is, so that's probably just the plastic being a flimsy little pain. But that's fine. Here we go. Pot to the back. But as I've said, it's not the worst pot. The worst pot is yet to come. But when will it show up? No one knows. What is this? Oh, that's one of those combined pots. You can see 2 faces on this one. That's nice. Let's dig in. So, which one is your favorite pot? Like, that's my question. Not because of the effect, although if you just play the game and only have an interest in their effects, I mean, you can tell me which is your favorite one no matter what, I don't care. Whether it be a banned card, whether it be a limited one or not, I don't care. Tell me your favorite pot. But to me, what matters most when it comes to pot, it's the look of it. It's the artwork. I won't touch a pot that doesn't look cool. Okay, this goes on that side. There we go. Put the little handles in. There we go. But why do I have a shard? Shouldn't the shard fit with the artwork? Anyway, so this is a pot. But there's a little shard. Shard of Greed. That doesn't fit with the artwork, doesn't it? I'll remember this card artwork having a shard. But there is a card which is a shard of Greed. So let's do both, I guess. I don't know if there's any like plastic for these little fumes, but this is Shard of Greed. I mean, it doesn't really get any better than this for a shard, I guess. It seems like it's not quite exactly like it is on the artwork, but it is pretty darn close. Like, don't get me wrong, that's pretty much as close as you can get, I guess. Could be a little different, but yeah, whatever. So we have a Shard of Greed. That is not a pot card, because it does not have the word pot in its name. But it's a piece of a pot. It's a shard. So yeah, I'll sleeve it up. You know, it's part of the whole collection, right? There we go. I'll put that in the back here. Yeah, we're not gonna have enough space for all of this, but we have one of the best pot cards ever. Pot of Duality. So you have the beautiful little pot of generosity here on the front, and when you turn it around, you have Pot of Greed, and them being mixed together with this metal hinge thing looking like Frankenstein things technology makes the Pot of Duality one of the more known and used pots out there. Still seeing a lot of use nowadays because, well, they're being used in non-special summon decks. For example, Fluanderies, they use Pot of Duality in there. That is a free pot card to play for them. So yeah, beautiful card. Let's put it in the right angle. Something like this. I mean, you don't see the face as much, but usually the face would, you know, bend towards the side to try to show off. But yeah, no, this is well made. It's a beautiful little figure, not complicated to make. We'll put that here in the back. What else do we have? We have bits and pieces of another pot card. Okay, so this should be Moray of Greed, if I'm not mistaken. That's just the Moray with the face of the Greed. This should be coming out of the pot. So, yeah. Well, this is nice. We have a Moray, which is, you know, an eel. It's actually very well made. Wow. That's stupid looking eel. Or Moray. It actually looks nice. I'm okay with this. We'll show the card soon. This little guy here goes in a bigger pot. I don't know why they put it in the middle of the box instead of with its actual pot. But that's just the spirit, you know? That's the little spirit thing. We'll wait until we get its actual pot card out. But we'll do the Moray of Greed right away. There we go. Moray of Greed. Shuffle 2 water monsters from your hand into the deck, then draw 3 cards. It is not a plus anything, because you basically waste a card to return the 2 and draw 3. So that's 3 for 3. But it is good for water decks, especially back in the days when this released. It was very played in the water deck strategies because, well, you don't want to discard all the water cards all the time, you know. Sometimes you just want to use them later on in the deck, and some of them, you know, were one-ofs that you would usually search for. And why would you search for a card that is discarded, you want it in the deck instead. So that's the strategy there. Okay, here we go. We are back to single regular pots. This fella is one of my favorites because back in the days when it first released, I was quite the user of this pot. I was one of the main consumers of that pot, you know. Yeah, no, honestly, this pot is a fan favorite pot for a lot of older players and for a few of the newer ones that are discovering its cool usage. A lot of my friends, especially Felix, which has been on the channel in the past, every time a deck that uses the graveyard a lot comes up in the meta, or you know, they've been announced and are being released and whatever, he always includes this card in the deck for his playtesting, because why not, right? You might just figure that the usage is very good. There we go, the tongue, I put the tongue upside down. That goes very poorly in there. Anyways, so every time a new graveyard strategy deck that uses monsters in the graveyard comes out, his main thing is putting at least a couple copies of this card in there. Even if I say that you might brick, he loves playing that card, and I understand. I was there when it was meta at first. I loved playing zombie decks and using this card in there to recycle and everything. It is such a great card. It's just sad that it doesn't see as much play now because obviously, as I've mentioned, you could brick. You don't want to play more than one or two of these. You want to draw into it, not start the game with it, because you need your combo pieces more than you need this card. The one and only Pot of Avarice, or Avarice. I would say Avarice. Yeah, I believe it is pronounced Avarice. It has a little, you-know-who mustache. I can't really say that on YouTube, otherwise they'll strike me. They're just that difficult on YouTube. I'm not gonna be a pain in the ass and actually go for it. You know what? I'll say it. It's the Hitler face. Yes, it has the Hitler mustache. We all know him. We all have a history class. It's not a bad word. We need to know about the past to not repeat it. But yeah, so it has the mustache. It goes with the character, I guess. You know, avarice is a sin and whatever. Although I don't remember this guy to be very, you know, in that kind of train of thought. But anyways, yeah. Anyways, though this is a very cringy looking pot, but it's cool. I like it. It's got, you know, it's got style. It's not as wide as a lot of the other pots in the back, but it's cool. And this used to be such a great card. It is still a very powerful card. It's not even a once per turn card, you know. If you draw into a second one and you still can play it, you play the hell out of it. Target 5 monsters in your graveyard, shuffle all 5 into the deck, and draw 2 cards. Very good card for a lot of different strategies. Not going to spend more time on that card, but, you know, it's a very cool thing. I want to see where the, okay, this is what we were missing from the little spirit earlier. Let's do this. That's one piece. The one piece is real. Okay, jokes aside, that's the second part. The one part is real. Nah, I'm kidding. Bad jokes. Anyways, so, yeah, this one is actually one of the main exceptions in this whole box thing. I would have actually preferred them including jars in the pot collection over this one. But, you know, whatever. It is what it is. Let's put this in here. Hey, it's the Pot of Greed. No, you would be wrong if you were to say that. It is not the Pot of Greed, guys and gals. Do not misname and misgender this pot. It will haunt you back. And you know why? You know why it will haunt you back? It's not because it's a pot. It's because it's a spirit in a pot. Yes, it's the spirit of the Pot of Greed. Haha! No, honestly though, it's basically the Pot of Greed, but a smaller version. And they have this little spirit imp looking thing. Actually, the little imp spirit thing is very well made and cute. Like, wow, so much detail on this. Yes, this box was expensive, but I was not expecting it to be so well made. This is the Spirit in the Pot of Greed. It actually is a card, and it was a very old card that not a lot of players played back in the days. Spirit of the Pot of Greed. So if a player activates Pot of Greed, activate this effect. They draw one card. This card must be face up in face-up attack position to activate and resolve this effect. So this doesn't replace the effect of Pot of Greed, it adds to the effect of Pot of Greed. So if you play Pot of Greed while this is face up, you draw 3 cards instead of just 2. But this card is a weak freaking card. It's only got 100 attack and it has to be in attack position to use this effect. And it probably will be your normal summon of that turn. So usually, if you play Pot of Greed, you don't even have this card in your deck. You do not want to spend any resource in getting a 3rd card instead of 2 when using Pot of Greed. Usually, you play Pot of Greed to manage your resources, not to waste them to get one more card. Even Exodia decks didn't play this strategy. And that's how bad that card is. But, it has a link, it has Pot in its name. Although, you know, this whole collection doesn't all have Pot in its name. Moray of Greed doesn't have Pot, but it has Pot of Greed in the back. Shard of Greed doesn't have Pot in its name, but it has a shard from the Pot of Greed. So, you know, not all of these cards have Pot in the name. Not all these cards are pots. Why not include Jar of Greed? Like, really? Like, I love Jar of Greed. It's, you know, it's the original OG card. You know, it's the Jar that allowed you to draw 1 card during your opponent's turn. Wow. But yeah, no, anyways, I digress. It's you know, it's more of a personal opinion at this point. But they should have included it at the price point of the whole collection. Make the box 1 row bigger, include the jars. There are like 3 jars. Might as well just include them, right? Like, it's not that difficult to include 3 more figures in here. 3 more cards. Ooh, spicy. 3 more figures and cards. Ooh. Anyways, maybe that's going to be the next collection. Maybe that's the next thing. They're going to release a couple more jar cards, and they're going to call it the Jar Collection. Maybe. I don't think they will, because they're very much behind schedule on the pot releases. But, you know, it could happen. You never really know nowadays how Konami sees things and wants to monetize any of their future endeavors. Okay, so there we have our next little figure. It's a duo figure thing. I think, why is there a hole here? That's confusing. Anyways, let's put these together. It's a mix of our friends from earlier, Benevolence and Avarice. Let's put the little hands in place. Yeah, okay, so this goes here. Yeah, okay, there we go. And this goes into the little cheek of the Avarice pot. There we go. There we go. We have our dual pot. And this one isn't as Frankenstein as our earlier pot, the famous pot of duality. This one is just well meshed together. See, this one had little metal things to hold the both together, but now these guys are just happy to be together. That's how good this card is. And this card is known as Pot of Dichotomy. It is not one of the best pots. It was not played that much, but it's still interesting to some. At the start of your main phase 1, target 3 monsters with different types in your graveyard, shuffle all 3 into the deck, then draw 2 cards. You cannot conduct your battle phase the turn you activate this card. So you can still special summon, you can spam and do whatever. If you use this on your turn 1, you don't have any downsides at all because you couldn't even have a battle phase anyways. But yeah, this card is not a once per turn, so if you draw another one, you can use it again. And this can be good in different decks. For example, Lightsworns can play this very easily because they have a lot of different types of monsters in their deck. And you send a lot of stuff in the graveyard using light sworns, so it's not bad in there. I wouldn't play this in most decks, and I honestly wouldn't play this at all nowadays, but, you know, it has usage, somewhat. It's not a great pot. Here we have another single pot. I don't think any of these single pots are happy to fuse too much, but, you know, when you don't see the Frankenstein connection thing, I would say that they're happier than the one that does have the Frankenstein looking fusion thing. There we go. We have plastic protection for some of these figures. This, in my opinion, is pretty much the worst pot. Like, you guys can complain in the comment section. You can tell me which one is the worst pot in your opinion, but this one is the worst of the worst to me. It's gonna be hard to convince me otherwise. I'm pretty confident most people think this as well. This is our friend Pot of Generosity. Yes, it could have, you know, it could have usage. It could have means of existing. If you don't want to discard stuff and you need to special summon it from the deck, this could be useful. But the Pot of Generosity is not a good pot. Like, sue me, it's not a good pot. And yeah, this was Pot of Generosity after all. It was not Pot of Benevolence in that earlier artwork thing. How did I make that mistake? I don't know. Sue me. But yeah, Pot of Generosity, shit pot. Worst pot. It almost looks like a jar. Sue me on that. I don't care. I'm right. You know I'm right. Pot of Generosity. When you play this card, shuffle 2 cards from your hand into the deck. How is that any good? There's probably a reason to do this. I don't know, but it's stupid. It's stupid. You lose 1 card to lose 2 other cards, so you're down from your 5 cards to 2 cards after playing this. Why? Why would you do this to yourself? Are you such a masochist? Like, no, don't do that. And look how much this looks like a jar instead of a pot. Pots are bigger at the bottom. A jar doesn't have that situation. If you look at Jar of Greed, it's a V shape. This Pot of Generosity is a V shape. It's not okay. I'm not okay, okay? No, I'm not okay. Anyways, Pot of Generosity, guys and gals. It's a pot. You know what? They have pots and they have jars. I don't remember seeing any vases. Where are the vases? Vase Master Race. Anyways, I'm going too far with this. Let's go into another pot. Here we have another dual pot. But honestly though, I know it was just a weird tangent from me going delirious about the vase and the pots and the jars and shit, but where are the vases? I don't remember many or any cards that are vases in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is there an issue with the word vase? Do they not like that word? Because a lot of these cards could have been vases. Like, they don't have to always use the word pot for everything, right? Like, is there like a... Is there something like a copyright that stops them from using the word vase? Or do they just not like the word vase? Like, what's up with that? I'm actually confused. I'm genuinely wondering why I don't see any vases in Yu-Gi-Oh! Anyway, so this pot was easy to assemble. It's our friend here from Riches. It's our friend from Generosity. And when we put them together, we have a generous pot full of riches. And that is why this pot is so good. This pot is also known as Pot of Prosperity. This is the most valuable pot in the current Yu-Gi-Oh! Meta. It is a banish 3 or 6 cards of your choice from your extra deck, which is already a very good plus, because it's your choice. Face down, and for the rest of this turn, after this card resolves any damage to your opponent is halved, but you excavate the equivalent amount of cards from the top of your deck as the amount of your cards that you banished, and you choose one of these cards and put it in your hand, and then you put the rest of the cards at the bottom of your deck in any order of your decision. So yeah, very good, very good. You can easily manipulate whatever you want to, you know, get your next combo piece out, and it's a very, very playable card. A lot of decks, you know, when you know your starting hand, you don't need all the cards in your extra deck anymore. So you can easily make a choice and go for something more playable or less playable or whatever. You know, it's interesting that way. We have 2 pots left to assemble. This seems to be... okay, well, I mean, okay, it is what it is. Apparently, and now, I'm a little disappointed, but it is what it is. The Pot of Greed from the Spirit of Pot of Greed is actually the Pot of Greed itself. I'm shooketh. But yes, it is the Pot of Greed. I was looking at the other pots. I thought there would be a bigger pot for the Pot of Greed because all the other pots look just so much bigger than it. But no, the Pot of Greed is the Pot of Greed. Who would have thought? Who'd have thunk? So yes, here is a playable, very foil version of Pot of Greed. This foiling reminds me of like Hobby League cards, and the card stock is thick, just like OCG cards. So this is a very good version of Pot of Greed to play for GOAT format. I'm actually very much looking forward to this card being played at locals by some very rich kids who don't care for the condition of their cards that are valuable. I'm kidding, they're not rich. They just invest in cardboard instead of other things, like I do. And honestly though, I mean, Pot of Greed is probably one of the best cards in a GOAT format, and I'm pretty confident that people who are playing valuable cards in GOAT format, just like I am, they double sleeve their cards if they don't triple sleeve them, and they're very careful with their cards. They don't, you know, put them in a bag with water. Obviously, it's not the wisest decision. So yeah, no, I'm confident that this card, whichever owner has it, will always be protected. And in my case, I will be protecting it very well. So yeah, we have the base, we have our riches and our greed assembled together as one. What happens when you're greedy and you have the money to back it up? Well, you get one of these pots. You get the Pot of Extravagance. Yes, because when you're rich and you have greed, you're an extravagant son of a gun. Yes. So we have the greed, we have the extravagance, and we have the card that goes for it. Pot of Extravagance. Also one of the better pot cards nowadays in the meta. This time, though, you do not choose which cards you want to banish from your extra deck. You just banish at random. So shuffle it, roll a dice, I don't care. This is how it goes. You banish 3 or 6 random ones, face down, and draw 1 card for every 3 that you banished. So, yeah, I mean, instead of choosing 1 card, you can maybe draw 2. But you don't get to choose what you banish. And the final pot, another very good pot nowadays, is Pot of Desires. Yes, you've guessed it, it's the final one. It's the only one we didn't touch out of the pot, guys. Obviously, we haven't touched any jars or vases, apparently. But yeah, final pot is Pot of Desires. Why is it the final one? Well, because when I was opening these up, I saw that this had a lot of green, and I thought it was a bigger version of Pot of Greed. That was why I made a mistake earlier and thought there would be an actual Pot of Greed pot. this is big. It's bigger than the actual Pot of Greed. Like, it doesn't look too small compared to it, no. But it is bigger. And it was upside up in the packaging. But no, there's some purple on the other side. Ta ta ta! And so yeah, that is why I made a mistake. But here we go, putting the desires together. So we have greed, and we have avarice. And when you double down on the amount of stuff you want, what do you get? You get desire. That's where the name comes from. You cannot quote me on that. I do not know where the name comes from. I'm just saying shit. But yeah, so this guy here is, yeah, he's suffering from a stroke, I guess, because this is very, very crisp of a face. Very awkward. But the greed one, very happy to be there. Very nice. So yeah, Pot of Desires. Another meta-relevant pot. Here we go. Banish 10 cards from the top of your deck face down. Draw 2 cards. But you can only activate one of these per turn. So yeah, obviously, you don't know what you're banishing from the top of your deck, but at least you're not touching your extra deck. So if you don't really care for your deck and you have a lot of 3 ofs, just go ahead, banish the top 10, draw 2, maybe you'll get one you need, maybe you won't, maybe you'll banish it. It's part of the gambling, you know. And yeah, so that's that for the pots. But wait, there's one additional card to review. Pot of Greed, but as a 25th anniversary card. This is even more blingy. This is the secret rare version of the Ultra from earlier. So you see a little more bling on it, you see a name that is silver shattered thing instead of gold, and you see a 25th anniversary stamping in the card text area. So yeah, this is the most collectible pot card of this box, obviously, and if you want to play max rarity GOAT, well, I mean, maybe this is it? I don't know. It depends on what you consider max rarity. Do you consider the hardest one to get max rarity? Do you consider the most valuable one? Although the prices can go up and down all the time, if you consider the most valuable one max rarity, it might not be this one. Do you consider it to be the more, the high rarity in description? Because technically, 25th anniversary cards are higher rarity than ultimate rares, for example. So, you know, it could be a mix of any of these. It's up to you to decide what is your max rarity. And if you want to bling it out, this is a good box for that. If you only want a couple of these cards, you can always sell the other ones online and help finance back your investment and only play the playable cards that you want to play. If you just want the figurines, you can sell the cards to a friend that plays the game. If you want the cards but not the figurines, you can sell the figurines to a friend who doesn't care about the game at all and just wants to have cool looking weird pots to store some weird liquids inside, I guess. I don't know. It's up to you guys to decide. I'm just here to review the products for you guys and to tell you guys that this is a cool product for collectible and playable purposes, which is very, very nice to see nowadays. But I have to say, there is a price tag attached to it, and pre-ordering this was a very, very long process. It took months before it was shipped and arrived home. There was little to no tracking. Actually, I never got an email to say that it was actually shipped. I had to contact the company. The company told me, well, if it hasn't shipped yet, it might be in the next wave. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know if it's been shipped yet. What the frick are you talking about? And they never answered back, so But it arrived. It was safe and sound. UPS did a great job. It didn't take a long time that I know of. But, you know, on the Konami part of it, it left a lot to be desired. But on the UPS side, I mean, efficient shit. They know what they are doing. They've been doing a lot of shipping for a long time. But yeah, the product itself is great. The managing behind it, maybe they'll get better for the next wave of whatever else they make as product. And I will be ordering more from their website if I can afford it and if I can justify it in my collection. I'm not just gonna buy any collectible product. A lot of it is expensive and I don't really have an interest in it. But this was a fun blast from the past and showed the evolution of the pot collection, and well, it just is so much fun to have collectible figurines and playable cards at the same time in one product. I am very happy about this, and I hope that future figurines from Konami, collaborations, or whatever come with collectible cards to go with it. It's just so much fun, you know, you get two things for the price of one, although you might be paying extra to get two things. Anyways, it's been a long video. I hope you all enjoyed today's vid. I know I did. It will be the kick-off video of a plastic models slash hobby construction thing marathon, including Pokemon stuff, Yu-Gi-Oh stuff, and probably some One Piece models as well. So let's stick around and enjoy it all through the holidays. I hope, again, you all enjoyed today's vid. Leave a comment if you want to see more of these kinds of things. And until the next time, guys and gals, it has been a pleasure, and ciao. Few thanks to give. First, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, please like, sub, bell, comment, share, etc. It really helps. Second, I want to give a big thanks to my friend BuddhaBelly42 for making the animation for the channel's intro. It is much appreciated. Go check him out on his social media accounts. Third, but not the least, I want to say a huge thank you to everyone who supports me, my channel, and its mission, especially the ones on Patreon. You peeps out there are the ones making this work. On that note, follow me on my other social media accounts. Lots of bonus content to entertain you guys and gals, so check it out.